Hey guys, this is Josh 3005. Welcome to episode number 19 of my Wrestle Zone. And of course, before I get on with this episode, let me go ahead and do what I always do. For every show, is go ahead and give off my top shoutouts. Of course, my top shoutouts for the show is of course going to go for Air 1865, Soul 390, Freaking Yeah 88, Legend Killer 410, Assault Battery 777, WWF Collections, and of course to Spiderweb WWE. So those are my top shoutouts for this episode. And of course, to my following shoutouts goes to OEZ25, Fire Ranch 35, ECW 2006, JWC 178, WWE Beltman, We Are From Jordan, Gemini 686, J Hardy Fan 54, Slashers Planet, Extreme 420, and Born 619 Legacy. So those are my following shoutouts for this episode. And of course, a few topics which I'm going to kind of discuss over in this show is, of course, what happened in this past Monday on Raw. I'm going to discuss somewhat about that, and of course, also want to discuss about the World Heavyweight Title picture on SmackDown. And of course, I may also talk a little bit about ECW, and of course, the upcoming pay-per-view, which is Bragging Rights, which we're going to have. And of course, want to go ahead and start talking a little bit about Raw. Now, this past Monday on Raw, I thought was a pretty, decent show. Wasn't as good as before, but, had a few good twists and turns in it. Of course, the big twist and turn that we had, of course, about the whole Diva trade thing that we had going on. And of course, before I talk about the whole Diva trade, let me discuss a little bit about one of the matches we had, which was for the Divas Championship, which you had Mickie James. She came out and defended her title against Julian. So yeah, so of course, at the beginning of the match, nobody didn't know anything but the whole Diva trade, and I was, think, oh, just a Divas Championship match, Mickie James, she's gonna come out of this match on top, and she's not gonna lose her title, but that didn't happen. It was like, and then when Julian won the match, I was like, oh, what's going on? This is odd and weird. And then all of a sudden, you saw the guest host. She came out and she said that her and the general manager of SmackDown and ECW, they were in talks of doing like a massive Diva trade. And what she told Julian is that one of the new Raw acquisitions is going to be here tonight, and you'll have to defend your newly won Diva Championship against her. And of course, when they introduced her, it was Melina from SmackDown. I was like, oh, this is cool. And so now Melina is now part of Raw. So Melina came out and just literally destroyed Julian and became the new Divas champion. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I was pretty upset about the whole Mickie James losing her title against Julian, but now Melina's the new champion. I was like, thank you, so at least somebody who deserves to be a champion is a champion right now, which is cool. Of course, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the whole Diva trade. You guys know the whole thing about the two Divas from Raw that's going to SmackDown. Of course, you had Mickie James and Beth Phoenix. They're both going over to SmackDown. And of course, from SmackDown to Raw, you have Eve Torres and of course Melina, which is now the new Women's Champion. And of course, from Raw to ECW, you have Rosa Mendez. So she got traded over to ECW. I think there was also a couple other trades that took place. I don't have those people off the top of my head, but if you guys know who the other trades were involved in that whole Diva trade, just send me a comment down there below, and just kind of say if you know who it was, just write a comment about it. So that'd be cool. And of course, another thing that I'm also going to discuss is about a few matches we had on Raw, which was for the qualifying matches for at the Bragging Rights pay-per-view for Team SmackDown versus Team Raw. And of course, you guys know that the co leaders of Team Raw is DX, which is Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and of course the team captain of Team SmackDown is Chris Jericho. And of course, we had a few matches that took place. At the first qualifying match, you had Big Show versus Chris Jericho. Now, if Chris Jericho would have won, then of course Big Show wouldn't have qualified. But if Big Show qualified, then he would have qualified for Team Raw, which Big Show did win that match via countout. So, Big Show is now on Team Raw. Three other competitors that also qualified to be on Team Raw. Of course, you had Ted DiBiase. Uh, no, sorry, not Ted DiBiase. Cody Rhodes. He qualified for Team Raw, and another person that also qualified was Jack Swagger, and of course the other person who also qualified for Team Raw is Kofi Kingston. And now there's one more slot open up for Team Raw, which would be pretty interesting. And of course now on Team SmackDown, only person that's on there right now is just Chris Jericho because none of his teammates qualified yet. So we'll probably find that out on SmackDown. And so also let's go ahead and stop talking about Raw. Let's talk about SmackDown. Now the whole World Heavyweight Championship title picture. Now it's going to be a fatal four-way match between the champion Undertaker versus CM Punk versus Batista versus Rey Mysterio. Now, if I had to have to just to decide, I would love to see Undertaker retain the title, but I don't know. I got a good possibility that CM Punk is probably going to walk out as champion again in this match. So, that's just my own personal thoughts about that whole title picture on that. And that's probably all I really want to talk about SmackDown. And of course, ECW. Don't know what's going on with that on bragging rights. Maybe they may have a title match on that. Not too sure. But if anything happens, I would love to see Christian, keep the championship. There's nobody else on ECW who more deserves to be champion right now on that brand than Christian. So yeah, so that's just my own little views on that. And of course, one other match I'm also just going to discuss on at bragging rights, which is the WWE Championship match between Randy Orton champion versus John Cena. Now you know how the stipulation between that match. If John Cena won, then he became new champion. And if Randy Orton retains, then that means John Cena has gone for Raw for good. So I don't know. It's kind of like half and half. Now, if Randy Orton wins the match, retains, it's not going to be a crying shame because John Cena will go to SmackDown. I doubt he'll go to ECW, and there's maybe like a 7% chance that John Cena will go to ECW if that were to happen, if he were to lose the match. But he'll probably definitely go to SmackDown. Or Vince may say no, John Cena is more valuable on Raw, so basically what's going to happen is John Cena is going to defeat, Randy Orton and become the new WWE champion again. I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of think Randy Orton needs to be champion at least till WrestleMania. There's no real reason for Cena to be champion again. He's been champion too many times already. So I just kind of think, the belt's around the shoulders of the person who needs to be champion right now, which is Randy Orton. But we just got to see what happens at bragging rights. So yeah, so that's basically all I really want to talk about the whole wrestling thing right now. Another thing too, just if a lot of you guys out there are interested in the new Raw versus SmackDown 2010 games coming out on October 20th. Just to let everybody, that's in the United States release date. Don't know for sure about overseas release dates, but in the States it's October 20th, which I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be purchasing that game, so pretty excited about buying it. But I kind of think it's kind of odd about the whole release date because if you think about it, October 20th is 10/10/20. Take SmackDown versus Raw 2010. Take the 2010, reverse it to 10/20. I don't know. It's just kind of a coincidence on how they choose that release date. So pretty interesting. So yeah, pretty excited about getting that game. And if when I do get it, I'll kind of go over. I may go over and tell you how good it is, if it's worth buying or not worth buying. But from what I've been reading, it's worth every cent. So yeah, pretty excited about getting that. Another thing too, to let everybody guys know, I know back in episode number 18, I discussed that I'm gonna show off all my wrestling collection, which I'm gonna do that in episode number 20. To make my 20th episode as my wrestling collection episode. So yeah, I'm gonna show everything that I own in my collection. Well, for the exception of my wrestling T-shirts, that'd be the only thing that I will not show off. Only reason why, because those are somewhat of a pain in the backside to, have to show. But But yeah, I'm going to show everything for the exception of my t-shirts. So yeah. So I hope you guys look forward to seeing that. And I guess all I really want to talk about in this episode. So yeah, and you guys all have a good day. Take care and bye. Peace.